Let me take you through a quick time lapse before I begin. A real-time process about my artwork. How I wish drawing was that quicker. Seriously. So this piece is kind of something which is very special to me. That's because I drew this on a plane, in an auto, in a train, in my home, at a workshop. This kind of took around some 44 hours or 45 hours to render. I really wish this process was really this quicker. But the amount of patience, to render these kinds of pieces, so many efforts and hours of practice and consistency in lines, about each line you hatch on the sketch. I remind myself about two things: sky, which has no boundaries, and universe, which is limitless. So the third one for me is a piece of paper. That's it offers me so many opportunities, endless opportunities and possibilities for my ideas to generate. So that's where I translate my thoughts. And the fourth and the largest one is inspiration. So we're going to discuss a lot about inspiration today, because inspiration is limitless. So even before getting into that, the problem with inspiration is it doesn't hit you every day. You keep fumbling with inspiration every morning. You try to find it one fine day, but you don't find it. Then what do? Even before that, let me take you through a quick incident which happened a few months ago, 3-4 months ago. I was getting done with my series of workshops across South India. I was so tired, I was completely worn off, and I didn't want to draw for the next 2 weeks. I really wanted to sleep properly on a Monday morning. I'm a freelancer, so I usually sleep on a Monday morning. So that's what I do. I really wanted to do that, but when I was at the airport, coming back to Hyderabad, I find this email, which literally sent me jitters down my spine. So it said that, okay, Sri, there is this mail, and we really want you to work for us on a project. Guess what? And this was a mail from Netflix USA. So I was so sleep deprived. I didn't want to draw. Oh my God. Okay, the next. I see that you are one of the artists, and the only artist from India who's been selected for this particular global outreach program for the Stranger Things Season 3. So I was freaking out inside me. I had to show my boarding pass. I was like, what? What's happening? So, and I didn't want to draw. There's always this other side of the dimension where I didn't want to draw, so much of exhaustion. It had so much of gravity, But equally, I have this potential client. The project is almost, it's so near to me. I could grab it, by the neck and literally conquer it. I really wanted to, and of course I did. But what did I do? The next day, not even the next day, the next morning itself was when I came back home. I was very sleepy, but still arrived at my desk, in my workspace, and I started staring at screen because I had to get back to work immediately right after I arrived home, because Netflix wanted me to submit a rough draft right after 48 hours. So it was a real quick deadline for the first phase, and I had to churn out couple of ideas, and I successfully did so. But still, this was the final product. So this was something they've used for the global outreach program. And I was really proud. I thought I found my moment. This is where I wanted to be, working for a production house. And Netflix has been a part of my daily routine. As an illustrator, I keep multitasking. I keep watching shows, and I keep sketching meanwhile. So and I've been following Stranger Things really religiously, and this has been a major shock. So, okay, I was coming into terms that, okay, so I work for Netflix, fine, good. But what if there was no project? What if there was no project at all when I was back at the airport? I had to draw, right? I should find my inspiration somewhere. Just because I had my deadline, I had to get myself into the game. But what if there's no commercial deadline at all? Ladies and gentlemen, so we are talking about the artist block. So I'm sure most of you must have heard about this artist block or writer's block. or the photographers, we go through a certain block where we don't find the inspiration, we don't find the motivation to get back to work, and there is this feeling of the disgust you feel with your work. In hindsight, I find the work I did for Netflix disgusting. But well, people say that it's good. I'm proud. I feel good. I'm comfortable. But still, I thought, okay, I could do better. This is the feeling I get. So now each and every artist has his own niche. Everyone, we have our own selection of relieving it down. I'm going to talk about, in a very broken down manner, like how do I find my inspiration? When I want to, when I want to get back to work, I first have to unblock my art block. I need to unclog my mind. Oh yeah, thanks. So what do I do? So I generally find myself right in the game, but I don't feel motivated. There is this back and forth. I stare at the paper, and the paper keeps staring at me back. There is this intense chemistry, like a girlfriend, and it never really works out, to be honest. So yeah, so it keeps happening, but well, I'll be like, okay, I don't want this anymore. I want to do something else, because now that my passion is my profession, I can't search for answers in that stream. So what do? I fetch for my answers somewhere else, for my vocational passion, like filmmaking. I love filmmaking. I gather my primary inspiration from pop culture, because I'm a lot into world cinema, I'm a lot into filmmaking. I learn a lot about movies, world cinema, and everything. So I try to watch as many new movies as possible. This is something which is part of my organic process. This process is so important to me. Just like I said, I found my niche. This makes me get back, this helps me get back to game. So I watch this particular TV show, or another movie, or another musical piece from my favorite composer, a symphony, Beethoven, or Hans Zimmer, could be anyone. But I really want to listen to them. I really want to watch these interviews, get some inspiration from them, because they never limited themselves. They are at this global platform, achieving and cracking the tougher shells, and breaking through the impossible. And here I am, fetching for some inspiration for my daily activities. This is something which I really find interesting, because it is the fellow creatives, these people, we see them as our inspiration, idols. But what are they? In hindsight, in the aerial view, we are all creative individuals. And these people belong to my fraternity. We are creatives. So yes, that's the one. And the second one is nature. Even before that, what does nature gives us? It gives us so many resources, especially for an artist. So many human beings, so many different faces, so many subtleties. Yet there are so many similarities, yet every single face is extremely distinct from each other. The structural values in a face are to be studied properly. It needs lots of observation. A human face is a beauty for me. I keep staring at people, whenever I talk to them. They find me creepy most of the times. But I couldn't help it, because that's what we do. We observe a lot. We study anatomy. We study each and every freckle, expression. That's how we deliver our thoughts into the paper. So that's what we do. So the nature never stops us inspiring. You go outside, you find so many people out there of different cultures and from different walks of life, and different attires and different hairdos and different mustaches, beards, everything. So much of study. It keeps you inspiring. Okay, so I've done with this person. No, there's another one for you. There's another hairstyle. Okay, there's another attire. There's another culture. Okay, there's this new guy with a different body. One's fat, one's obese. Nothing. Everyone's equal for us. Everyone. So that way, the learning is limitless. The moment I get out of my home, and I hardly do that anyway. But still, when I do, I find so many people around me. Sometimes I get annoyed, but still, it's kind of very inspiring, because I look at it in a different perception. Because I have a niche. I found my niche, and that way, I really find my inspiration. So each and every piece, especially when nature inspires me, it gives me so much of inspiration. So whenever this thing happens, you need to find your niche, get along with your own solution. So I say that whenever, to my fellow creative individuals, if you find yourself in this, facing this particular challenge, I would really, really like you to open your mind to the vastness of this world which has to offer you. That's because our problems are so insignificant and small when it compared to the real time. So all these pieces I've done are completely, really, so much. It takes around like 200,000, 300,000 lines. Open your mind to the vastness this world offers. It's limitless. You see, there are sources everywhere. Many creative individuals has inspired me all along. The moment each morning I wake up, I find so many people posting, my fellow artists, so many photographs, the lighting department and camera department, they keep inspiring me every day. They enrich the rendition I do. They give us a vision for an artist, a visual artist. They give us so much of vision that our end result depends on their vision. So it is their references and their hairdo and whatever they do. That's what. So yes, these are a few of my works. So yeah, there's another blank screen staring at me, another paper. I start procrastinating myself. I just keep staring at it back again. It's awaiting for limitless opportunities. Thank you.